Welcome to JoyNews Today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're on DTT because we're free to on DSTV, channel 421 and GoTV, channel 125. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, Attorney General to face off with lawyers for minority leader Dr. Kasiela Toforsin and businessman Richard Jakba standing trial for causing financial loss to the state in procurement of some ambulances. We are live in court for updates on the matter. Also this afternoon, EC urged to build consensus with political parties on whether their agents should be allowed to monitor the voter transfer exercise.
I think it will be in order to have a legislation. But having said that, sometimes the law not prohibiting something, that is not necessary to say that the EC can just wake up the next day and say, don't do it.
There is more as the coalition of domestic election observers calls for suspension of the exercise to resolve the impasse.
It's going to be chaotic. Don't be there, I'm going to be there. Don't be there, I'm going to be there. Then it's going to be chaotic. So the best thing for maybe the other party to do is to also withdraw.
Plus, let's sit down and figure out the way forward. NPP flag bearer Dr. Bawumia breaks silence on stalled and controversial National Cathedral project. We have details of this, plus take you live for updates as Dr. Bawumia begins his tour of the Greater Accra region today.
But I think that as it stands now, the church has to come together and government and let us sit down and talk about the way forward.
We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X Spaces at Joy News on TV. My personal handle is @Denana Aisha. Please do stay for details. Vice President Dr. Bawumia has broken his silence on the controversial National Cathedral project, which millions of cedis have been spent on without significant progress. This has drawn criticism from some members of the clergy, minority and civil society organizations. Some key board members of the National Cathedral have even resigned, citing lack of transparency in the execution of the project. Well, it came up strongly when Dr. Bawumia met the clergy earlier today as part of his tour of the Greater Accra region. But in response, the NPP flag bearer said there's a need for the church and government to figure out the way forward for the project.
Accountable to you is very, very important that we do that. The question of the National Cathedral is a very important one. The National Cathedral, I have contributed to its construction personally. I believe it's a very important thing for Ghana. But I think that as it stands now, the church has to come together and government and let us sit down and talk about the way forward for the National Cathedral. The church should come together and let us know the best way forward, how we can even get private resources to help us to complete the cathedral. But I think it is possible. We should not say it is not possible. Let us all sit back together and figure out the way forward on how to complete this cathedral. I think if we all come together, we'll figure it out. I really believe so. So I want us to come together and sit down and see the best way forward to generate the resources to complete, because we can't leave it where it is.
Let's now connect with my colleague Samuel Mbura, who is on a campaign tour with the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia. Mbura, Dr. Bawumia has been speaking with the Christian community, saying they should get together to find a way forward for the National Cathedral. How does he intend to resolve the current stalemate on the project?
His response was in relation to a question posed by one of the clergymen. He wanted to find out what his government would do about it, and then currently what government is doing about this all-important project. That's where he came out with the suggestion that there's a need for them to sit down together and have a conversation with government to figure the way out on it. So at least what will be the way forward is when there's an opportunity for the clergy and the current government to sit and deliberate around it. He thinks that it is a project that is possible. There should be collaborations to have it, all the issues resolved. These were part of the many concerns that came about how the country will be managed if he is given the opportunity as a president. They were raising concerns too about the activities of land gas. Actually, one pastor from Ablekuma raised this alarming issue of land gas in Ablekuma, currently disturbing the area. He reveals that about 18 soldiers are protecting his church facility whilst construction are ongoing, and he thinks that there's a need for policies geared towards registration of lands to ensure that there's no double sale of lands to two people or more. Dr. Bawumia in his response says it is part of his plans to ensure that there's a free registration of stool lands for all chiefs across the country so that they'll be able to track and digitize the system to avoid the sale of land to more than one people or two people, to avoid the activities of land gas. So I must say it has been a receptive exercise or engagement with the clergy in Accra. They are also optimistic that he will be able to deliver given the opportunity. Some of them actually said that with the message he has propagated so far, they think that if he's given the opportunity, he can get those policies through. But they will hold him and check him for the purpose of accountability, as well as continue to pray with him, since he's optimistic that he's capable of managing the country. So at the moment, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is with the Muslim communities. The imams, the Muslim community is currently meeting him here at AMA, and he's also looking at their concerns, what the suggestions or solutions they want to provide to him if he becomes president in making the country better. So this is actually the first day and the second engagement on his campaign tour of the Greater Accra region. So we are waiting for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to address the Muslim community. But I must say, generally, the reception with the clergy and the Islamic community has been welcoming.
There were some updates from Accra where the Vice President and flag bearer of the NPP is currently meeting the Muslim community. We'll bring you more on Election Brief on this. Now, Ghanaians have been urged to take advantage of the alternative dispute resolution mechanism to resolve minor offences such as rent litigation, family litigation, land disputes, among other petty offences, to speed up justice delivery in the country. Senior Managing Partner at a new ADR mediation court established in Techiman, Mohammed Damanko Abdullahi says the move will help fast-track the number of legal issues currently pending at the courts. And Asabit has more.
As long as human interactions exist, disputes will remain inevitable, and hence the need for the establishment of a formally recognized mechanism where disputes are resolved. This informed the need for a standardized mode of resolving disputes known as alternative dispute resolution, shortly referred to as ADR. Senior Managing Partner at the new ADR Mediation Court in Techiman, the Citizen Ombudsman ADR Center, Mohammed Damanko Abdullahi, says the Mediation Center aims at helping provide an avenue to people who cannot afford the services of a lawyer.
The essence of the Mediation Court is to help people at the periphery, people at the downstream, who cannot afford to take a lawyer and go to court, yet they have pertinent issues that bother them on a daily basis. So the ADR court now offer an avenue to those persons who do not have the means to take a lawyer.
Lawyer Mohammed Abdullah noted that the expensive nature of Ghana's court system, coupled with its busy nature, means the mediation center would help in fast-tracking litigations in our local settings.
Of course, court system is expensive, it is time-consuming, and the courts are actually choked. So ADR has come to supplement what the courts are already doing. But with the advent of the ADR court, it doesn't mean that a party cannot go to court. The party have the option based on what will suit the interests. But certainly, a less effective cost-oriented system, I think a party will opt for such a system in resolving the dispute.
Hence, Wahima and Bawumia of the Teachman Traditional Council, Nana Ama Asantua Munifi II, on her part, expressed excitement with the new mediation center, adding that the move has come to relieve the courts and traditional authorities of the numerous cases currently pending.
Now our courts are choked with minor issues. Our palace are choked with some issues. So the alternative dispute resolution has come to relieve the courts and Nananum as well. So we wholeheartedly accept it, and it's a good cause. So we are fully in support. And my advice to my community is that we should make use of the Alternative Dispute Resolution Center.
One of the newly trained mediators, Nubana Eugene, says the ADR system works in a speedy manner and ensures that parties involved live in a more united manner after judgment, unlike the current court system.
One of the interests of ADR to make sure that people don't have their case spent so much. You go to court, you come, some take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and their cases are still in court, and they are still battling with it. You can imagine the money loss, you can imagine time, you can imagine a family that you don't even have time for your own family. But with ADR, when your cases come to ADR, we make sure that we expedite an action and make sure at least you have a good hearing. But one critical important thing is that you just don't go as litigants, but you live with the ADR courts as more united than you came.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Techiman.
Let's stay with legal matters because the Attorney General will face off with lawyers for Minority Leader Dr. Kasiela Toforsin and businessman Richard Jakpa, who are standing trial for causing financial loss to the state. And the process is leading to the procurement of some ambulances. Godfred Yeboadame has filed an application challenging an affidavit of mistrial and an inquiry into his conduct filed by the first accused, Dr. Kasiela Toforsin. Lawyers for the third accused, businessman Richard Jakpa, have also filed an application demanding charges against him to be struck out. In his affidavit, Mr. Jakpa testifies on oath that the Attorney General, Godfred Dame, has had several interactions with him in which he has admitted that Mr. Jakpa was innocent and assured him of his acquittal. We are minutes away from the controversial ambulance procurement trial at the Financial and Economic Court, and already big wigs of the opposition NDC, including third accused Richard Jakpa and opposition members of parliament, are trooping in. A high-spirited Richard Jakpa spoke exclusively with Joy News and says he expects nothing but justice from the sitting judge.
Court and come and refute the allegations and then set aside the record according to his opinion straight, the way he thinks it's supposed to be. I have done mine in court, so I'm expecting to come and do this.
Do you
is in court, not in public opinion.
Do you
determine that.
Sorry about that. Do you expect Mr. Godfred Dame to be in court today? Is that your expectation?
Well, he's supposed to be in court because he's Attorney General, and this issue is personally between he and I. You know,
if he doesn't show up, how would you feel if he doesn't show up?
The court to determine that.
Mm-hmm. So again, you want to reiterate that at the end of the day, you would be exonerated. You are not going to jail.
Because I'm an innocent man.
What do you make of the position that the tape you put out is a doctored tape?
Well, they are claiming it's a doctored tape. I didn't say that. So they should bring the original.
Mm.
You should tell the original to court.
But why did you record the Attorney General?
Well, that is not for you.
He says you've been disingenuous.
But that's what he claims. If
that it was a private. It was a private.
Prosecuting innocent people. Who is disingenuous?
It was a private conversation, and now you put it out.
You claim it's a private conversation.
That's what he says.
Well, private conversation, when it's a conversation that leads to committing crimes, it can no longer be private. It becomes a crime against the state. So it can no longer be private. So that private claim is neither here nor there.
The bottom line is you didn't tender that in evidence.
I'm not a lawyer. My lawyer knows his strategy, and he understands the court processes more than I do. So he's doing what is required by him. He has got his own strategy, and I cannot dictate to him his strategy.
So at the end of the day, you expect that you're going to walk?
Well, there must be justice, and I'm here seeking for justice.
So justice, anything other than you walking free will be injustice?
I cannot decide that I'm walking free. It is her ladyship who will decide based upon the evidence I used before her. The evidence will lead to that. And I know she's going to hold fidelity to the law. And that's what is expected of her. And that's exactly what I know she'll be doing. So I don't have any issue at all.
Are you looking forward to a face-off between you and Mr. Godfred Dame?
No, it can't be a face-off.
Let me put it that way, face-to-face.
There's no need for face-to-face. We are dealing everything in court. My lawyers will deal with it.
In court, in court.
But I cannot cross-examine him. My lawyer will do that. So there's nothing like face-to-face.
Have you seen him?
It's an issue of evidence against evidence. You see, the game is about evidence, that is all.
Have you seen him since you put out the tape? Have you seen the Attorney General after putting out the tape in the public domain?
Not at all.
Has he reached out to you?
Not at all.
Have you reached out to him?
Not at all.
So there was a CJ, Justice of the Supreme Court involved. Has he reached out to you?
Not at all.
There were many who they believe that you actually thought about, you wanted to record the Attorney General, that's why your voice is so loud.
Well, that is their opinion, they're entitled to their opinion.
Okay. So how's the feeling now that they're whooping this out? Now you are the man in town, everybody is talking about losing their power.
Well, I'm focusing in court. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. As for public opinion, I've not spoken to the public. I'm dealing with the court.
What kind of reception do you get after this whole matter?
Oh, normal as every other citizen.
You work free in town, nobody
free in town.
Are you concerned about your security?
Well,
you are a security couple, you have a background in security and all of that.
I'm a gorilla in the jungle, so I'm not worried about the jungle business.
You don't think they will come after you? Or someone will come after you?
They can try it. If they succeed, fine. But they must make sure they come with professionals.
Have you received any threats?
If they bring amateurs, it will be death sentence for them. But if they should be bringing professionals, if they really want to come after them. That is all.
Many see you to be an outspoken person. You're a very strong man. Is that the case?
Well, that is their opinion. So what I know is that I'm a principled man.
You're a principled man.
That is all. As to being a strong man, it's a different matter altogether.
Thank you.
Hope to see you again after the proceedings.
All right, thank you very much.
And my colleague Latif Idris, who is monitoring this at the court, will be bringing us more in our subsequent bulletins as the trial begins this afternoon. Now, law lecturer at the UPSA Law School is urging the Electoral Commission to resort to dialogue in resolving the current stalemate at the ongoing voter transfer exercise. The governing NPP and the opposition NDC are divided over the Electoral Commission's decision to ban party agents at its district offices where transfer of votes is ongoing. The AC cites violence from clashes occurring at some district offices as a result of the exercise as a key reason behind their decision. We'll hear from the law lecturer Ibrahim Isahako, but first listen to the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, calling for a suspension of the ongoing voter transfer exercise to allow for consensus building involving all stakeholders. Albert Ahim is national coordinator for CODEO.
The EC is saying that because of the troubles that it is emanating from these centers, you know, somebody was stabbed the other time. I'm sure that must have triggered the EC's decision. So the EC concretely said that all parties should withdraw their agents from the centers.
As election observers, what's your position on that?
No, as I'm saying, It has never even occurred in this commission before. It's not in the law in the first place. So I'm even wondering why the EC, maybe they were being too magnanimous by allowing them to send their people there. It could also be that they wanted to be extra transparent, okay? But if, on the other hand, it's being abused, then they are right to...
Are you backing the decision by the EC?
I, in the first place, wouldn't even want agents to be around when transfers are being made, because the law does not even back it. You can't defend it anywhere because the law is against it. It is not written anywhere that when transfers are being made, parties should be represented.
Now, the worrying situation is that the NDC is still on its grounds. It says their agents should remain at the transfer center because they are suspecting that the EC wants to manipulate the system in favor of their main opponent, the MP.
I cannot answer for the EC what they will do if the NDC still has the agents there. It will be for them to decide what to do, if they should still maintain them there.
Definitely, you have a caution for that because we know definitely that if it is going to continue, yes, we have chaos.
Continue, definitely it's going to be chaotic. Don't be there, I'm going to be there. Don't be there, I'm going to be there. Then it's going to be chaotic. So, the best thing for maybe the other party to do is to also withdraw, because they've done a lot of discussion here, and I don't think the EC gave in. The way the discussion went, I'm not sure the EC gave in. Well, if they are going to consult among themselves as a commission, it could be they can come out later to say it, but I don't know. But for now, the EC is saying every party should withdraw.
We can now hear from law lecturer of the UPSA Law School, Ibrahim Ishaku, on why the EC must resort to dialogue, even though the law is on its side.
As you've heard from the background, both political parties have confirmed that there is no law forbidding that. Likewise, there is no law that just said that the EC must allow party agents to observe it. But I think because it has practiced over the years, the EC have always invited both political parties or various political parties to come and observe. I think with that, it has created some reasonable expectation that the EC would always do that. I think it will be in order to have a legislation. But having said that, sometimes the law not prohibiting something, that is not necessary to say that the EC can just wake up the next day and say, don't do it. In the UK, for example, they have this what we call the black letter law, and they have what we call convention. So convention might not be something that the law strictly adhere that you must do it, but once you create reasonable expectation, unless something is broken along the way, that convention should continue. And in this case, because it has been practiced since the 1992 up to now, it's more or less closer to being law. And if the law really requires that for the sake of transparency, because this year election, as my colleague said, it's very, very important that we don't want it to be marred with violence. And we also want that at the end of the election, everybody will be confident that this election is really authentic. So if it requires the law to have the EC to ask them to return, then yes, that would be a right route. But I think with this convention, unless it's really broken, few violence here or there should not be a reason why the EC should decide to withdraw those party agents.
Meanwhile, the Techiman South Secretariat of the National Democratic Congress has vowed to resist with strong aggression persons who attempt to transfer votes from other constituencies into the municipality in the ongoing voter transfer exercise of the EC. The party, at a press conference, cautioned individuals who are being lured to do so to be mindful of the 2020 shooting incident that claimed 2 lives and left several others injured, and advised himself to stay away. Anna Sabit has more.
So we are back here at the Techiman Electoral Commission, where ongoing transfer of voters is taking place. The exercise, which commenced on the 30th of May, Thursday to be precise, is in its 5th day. And the National Democratic Congress at the constituency level is unhappy with the turn of events. They are alleging that the New Patriotic Party is busing people from other parts of the country to transfer their votes into the Techiman South constituency in an attempt, to rig the next elections, which comes off in December. this year. The constituency communications officer, Alasan Isa, has been addressing the press, expressing their dissatisfaction with the turn of events. Let's listen to what he's been saying.
Our gathered intelligence indicates that the MPP in Techiman South constituency are basing people from Ejura Sechidumasi, Ashanti Mampong, Mampontin, Wenchi, as well as German North and South constituencies respectively. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, as a law-abiding political party, will not sit unconcerned, but rather prevent and safeguard the integrity and the tenets of democracy. Without missing words, a warning is hereby served to anyone whose prime motive is to transport voters from different constituencies to our dear and admirable Techiman South constituency for the purpose of transferring their vote into the constituency, that we shall resist with every legal means possible, with strongest aggression.
They are calling on Ghanaians, particularly those who are attempting to transfer their votes from other constituencies into Techiman, to learn from the shooting incident that occurred in the 2020 general elections, where 2 persons lost their lives, leaving a couple of others injured. Here in Techiman, they are saying people who are attempting to come into the region or the constituency should learn from the past events and then advise themselves.
Fellow media friends, ladies and gentlemen, comrades, may we use this opportunity to advise the parents of those whose sons and daughters who find themselves in these illegal activities to kindly admonish them to stay away from coming to Techiman South for the purpose of transferring their vote into the constituency. If for nothing at all, they should learn a lesson from what happened in Techiman South during 2020 election collation center in Techiman South.
With the party's Agenda 1111, which seeks to win all 11 seats within the Bunu East enclave still on course, the party is urging electors, voters within the Techiman municipality and other parts of the region to vote massively for the former president John Dramani Mahama and all 11 candidates of the NDC to ensure that that dream is realized.
We will not let down the Agenda 1111 movement for all our parliamentary candidates and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, led by our indefatigable regional chairman, Honorable Yunus Ousu.
The party, after the press briefing, also attempted to invoke curses on whoever illegitimately attempts to transfer votes from other parts of the country into the Techiman South constituency. They had confrontations with the Ghana Police Service, who didn't want to allow them to do that at the premises of the Electoral Commission. But at the end, matters were resolved and the NDC were allowed to carry out that particular exercise on the streets just in front of the Electoral Commission. So as it stands, the transfer of votes continues, and we have hundreds of people in the queue attempting to embark on that particular exercise that the Electoral Commission is carrying out today. From the Techiman Electoral Commission's office for Joy News, my name is Anas Sarit reporting.
President Akufo-Addo has assured the people of Jirapa of government's commitment to ensuring that justice prevails in the trial of persons accused of killing the owner of Royal Cozy Hills Hotel, Eric Johnson. Mr. Johnson was murdered in February at his private residence at Jirapa. In a speech read on his behalf by Minister of State at the office of the President, Ambrose Derry, President Akufo-Addo said he will ensure that perpetrators of the crime are made to face the full rigors of the law. Rafiq Salam was at the funeral service of Mr. Johnson and now reports.
Jiraba has said goodbye to arguably its most famous business tycoon and philanthropy extraordinaire in a historic day marked by moments of emotion and grief. Tens of thousands of people traveled to the Jiribana Yerpue Park for a poignant requiem funeral service. Eric Johnson was later privately buried at the compound of his private residence, where he was gruesomely murdered almost 4 months ago. It followed an emotional day for grieving members of his nuclear family and by extension the Jiraba royal family, where his mother hailed from, and kinsmen from the Walimairi clan. Also among the mourners were Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Alban Somana Kinsport Babin, who knew Eric Johnson for over 3 decades, Minister of State at the Office of the President, Ambrose Derry, who represented the President of the Republic, and Supreme Court Judge Justice Emmanuel Yonikulendi, and they all sat on the front pew. The event was officiated by 9 priests and led by the Ward Assistant Administrator, the Very Reverend Father Cornelius Nabayirunoba.
Him who takes away the sins of the world. Blessed are those called to the supper of the Lamb.
There was space for several tributes. Her daughter gave a touching eulogy mixed with beers of tears centered on the love Eric Johnson had for them.
Eric's profound affection for his daughters knew no bounds. He cherished them dearly and proudly extolled their virtues whenever the occasion arose. His pride and love for them were palpable in every interaction. Before his passing, Eric was graciously bestowed with the joy of meeting his beloved grandchildren, a testament to the abundant blessings bestowed upon his family by the grace of God.
May his soul rest in peace. Let's take a break on this note. When we return, that's business.
Hello, welcome to the business news on JoyNews Today with me, Pius Kojobaka. Stakeholders in the aquaculture industry have been urged to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Speaking at the Aquaculture Awards 2024, Executive Director of Tarzan Enterprises, Zadi Halmi, emphasized that Ghana is not the only one facing the value chain disruptions. Hence, industry players need to turn challenges into opportunities to enable them tap into the prospects beyond Ghana.
Aquaculture Event 2024, organized by the Chamber of Aquaculture and its partners, was crowned with an awards ceremony. While delivering his speech, special guest for the Aquaculture Awards 2024, Ziad Hamui, indicated that the African Continental Free Trade Area is a catalyst for trade. Hence, value chain actors need to be proactive rather than wait for collaborations to find them.
Ghana is not the only country to have challenges that have to do with value chain disruptions or inflation or price increases. It cuts across the continent. And so we have to look at it from this particular lens. The AFCFTA itself is not a magic wand. It is actually a catalyst that would allow rapid African development. But it has to also keep in mind the fact that not only should you focus on creating one large market, but you should focus on manufacturing and producing more of African goods to trade for in the first place. And the final point is about the importance that this particular event emphasized on collaboration. And I mean, the theme of this conference is about, your conference is about stakeholder collaboration. And I think that is very appropriate because eventually networking, engaging, sharing ideas and learning are what will help not only the industry and its players to become stronger, but also the country itself to become more competitive in this industry.
Chair of the Aquaculture Awards Committee, Dr. Winnie Sowa, indicated that the awards ceremony seeks to acknowledge and celebrate the efforts of stakeholders in building a sustainable and inclusive industry.
We must also acknowledge the challenges that lie ahead. Climate change, environmental degradation, and socioeconomic disparities continue to present formidable obstacles to the sustainability and resilience of aquaculture systems worldwide. Nevertheless, in the face of these challenges, we find opportunities to innovate, collaborate, and pave the way for a more sustainable and inclusive future. The awards we present tonight stand as a testament to the unwavering dedication and collective effort of scientists, farmers, policymakers and industry leaders who are diligently working to address these challenges and drive positive change in the sector.
The overall award, Aquaculture Cage Farm of the Year, was won by Tropo Farms.
About 300 unemployed and vulnerable youth in Kumasi will receive hands-on training in employable skills and trade under the Youth Apprenticeship Program. The beneficiaries, who are from underprivileged backgrounds, are often jobless due to the narrow level of education, skills and support. The initiative, spearheaded by non-banking financial institution Sinapiaba, aims to teach entrepreneurial spirit and will address the high youth unemployment rate in the country. More in this report.
The fast rising youth unemployment in Ghana is presenting significant challenges among less educated, uneducated and deprived youth. They face higher instances of joblessness, worsening their vulnerability. Recognizing this obstacle, Sinapiaba Savings and Loans have admitted and inaugurated 300 young boys and girls under its Youth Apprenticeship Program for livelihood skills. The 3-year training program is meant to inculcate hand-on employable skills, industrial skills and trade to support growth and provide a pathway for sustainable employment for young people. Chief Programs Officer Joyce Owusudabo is positive the intervention will transform the economic independence of these vulnerable youth.
The Youth Apprenticeship Program is a program that looks at supporting the poor and the vulnerable youth to give them hope for the future, as the tagline of the program goes. The intent is to ensure that these vulnerable and poor youth are given opportunity to learn a skill and a trade of their choice, out of which they can be able to, in the future, work to gain income, sustainable income for that matter, and become responsible citizens for the country. We also ensure that these youth contribute their quota towards the development of the country and again be able to, as men and women, are empowered to stand in the gap as future generation of the country.
The initiative in its 21st year engages master craftsmen in selected fields, including dressmaking, hairdressing, aluminium fabrication, carpentry and masonry, who train beneficiaries. This year's edition of YAP is in collaboration with Her Royal Highness Lady Julia Foundation to commemorate Sinapiaba's 30th anniversary. Meanwhile, Principal of Jackson College of Education and board member of Sinapiaba, Theodosia Jackson, is admonishing the new entrants to be focused on their goals.
Success is a process, it's not one day achievement. And to be successful, you need to be determined, have perseverance and discipline. They should discipline themselves and stop roaming about laziness. Even scripture speaks against laziness.
That's it for Business. Sports is next.
Good afternoon. Let's do sports now on JN Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, later today, young apostles and Techiman heroes will clash in a decisive match to secure a spot in next season's Ghana Premier League. Both teams are determined to join Vision FC and Holy Stars, who have already secured their places. Victor Achu Tamaklo has more.
Since they transferred Matthew Enim Kujo to Kumasi Asante Kotoko on loan some 5 years ago, Young Apostles have maintained that reputation of being the club that is able to identify elite talents with high resale value, move them on for good money while retaining a strong domestic core to compete here. The club is owned by Owura Domfe, who started the club. He's a former RTU, former BA United player, and is also the sporting director of the club. And of course, the other half being Sami Enim Ado, former executive council member of the Ghana Football Association. If you look across Europe, you'll find some of their ex-players playing in some really competitive leagues. So at CFR Cluj, they've got Wahab Adams and Emmanuel Mensah playing there. Emmanuel Yeboah these days plays for Brøndby. Matthew Enim Kujo is at Dundee United. Raymond Anoche is at Udinese. Back home, they've got an even more impressive resume in terms of the players that they have produced and where they play their trade. The current season, Solomon Adamako of Great Olympics graduated from their academy. Abbas Samari, who raised a lot of eyebrows and got people excited with his performance at Accra Lions, also came from their stables. The current team that is on the cusp of qualification to the Ghana Premier League is an exciting one, but also very unpredictable in the sense that they don't score too many goals. In fact, if you look at the top scorer in the team, it is a midfielder by the name Ramsey Abubakar, who scored 5 goals all season. That's not to say the strikers are not very good. In fact, Mukhtar Mohammed is one of the most impressive strikers out there one of the most influential strikers out there in the division. He's been involved in a ton of goals, and in the games that matter, he's been known to put in strong performances and help his team, if not necessarily scoring a goal. And if there's one thing that they need to look out for, it has to be that rear guard that leaks a lot of goals. In 28 matches, they conceded 20 goals. And that's worrying for a team that scored only 26 goals in 28 matches all season. The opponents for this playoff are Techiman Heroes. They have got a very impressive resume and seem to or appear to be checking all the boxes if you are a fan of attacking football. First thing, they scored 13 more goals than Young Apostles managed, 39 in 28 matches. Defensively, they were even better. They conceded 1 goal fewer than Young Apostles managed, 19 of those. Theirs is a team that has shared the goal scoring responsibility among its key actors, and that explains why you would see one player, Emmanuel Owusu, leading the pack with 6 goals, even though the team has scored 39 goals in total. All of this to say there is very little to choose between the two sides in what should be a very interesting playoff tie.
To the Black Stars now, and the team is set to arrive in Bamako tonight for the crucial 2026 World Cup qualifier against Mali. Now, Ghana occupied the 4th position in Group I with 3 points and desperately need a win to boost their qualification hopes. Before the team's departure, FA President Ketu Kreku addressed the players with this inspiring message.
Usually, at this time, you should be on holidays. But when it is that national calls or national phone calls come up, you have to respond. And I'm very happy that all of you have responded positively to the national call and to the national cause. I thank you. We began this World Cup journey some months ago. We've played 2 games, we all know already. We won 1 and we lost the other one. Fortunately, the journey didn't end with that defeat. Unfortunately, we have another window to claw back some lost moments. The importance of these 2 assignments, I'm sure, has not been hidden from each one of you. All of you know how important it is for us to get back on track. Again, I will say that I trust you. The country trusts all of you. The country is behind all of you. And it's important we all stay focused, very focused, and extremely focused on the 2 games that lies ahead of us. This is showers of blessing. I hope that we'll go to Mali with all the confidence that we have, with all the quality that I know we have, and go and put up a good performance that will give us the desired results.
And that's it for sports. My name is Haruna Mubarak. World News comes up shortly.
Check out what's making headlines elsewhere. Nigeria's trade unions have suspended a general strike by workers that has brought economic activity to a halt this week. The decision comes after the government promised to increase the national minimum wage to at least 60,000 naira a month. This falls below the $330 that the unions have been demanding, but is double the current monthly wage. The strike began on Monday and led to the shutdown of the country's power grid, leaving millions without electricity. Government and union representatives say they will now meet every day for a week for further negotiations. The country was plunged into darkness when union members prevented operators at the country's power control rooms from working in closed electricity substations. Many flights were also cancelled in the country's busiest airport in Lagos and in the capital Abuja, with passengers left stranded. That does it for World News. Up next is Showbiz.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline Ansma Yeboah. Now, for our first story, Ghanaian actor Lowen's car crash sparked outrage and tragedy over the last few weeks. The actor's joyride ended in a devastation, leaving a young life lost and a community in shock. Yesterday, he was granted a 50,000 Ghana cedis bail with 2 sureties. But here is what we know so far.
Ghanaian actor Kojo Nkansah's car on May 25, 2024, shocked Ghanaians. The collision injured the actor and 2 others. Despite the pain, Kojo Nkansah's dedication to his craft shone through as he graced the premiere of A Country Called Ghana at the KNUST CCB Auditorium on that very day, proving that the show must go on. As the days unfolded, tragedy struck with the passing of 3-year-old Nanayao, leaving a somber cloud over the community and family. The boy's father, Jacob Kofi Ampoma, still fighting for battle for recovery, faced the harsh reality of the loss of his son. In the aftermath, the family cried for justice, questioning the spotlight that seemed to dim on them while the actor took the center stage.
I'm in a lot of pain. And I'm worried because 2 cars were involved in the accident, but all the discussions have been centered around just one person. Nothing has been mentioned about the person who lost his life. The elders are going to meet and will communicate our decision soon.
The one social media statement on May 28th stirred a public storm, setting the scene for a dramatic turn of event. 9 days later, the script took a legal twist as Kojo Nkansah Lowen found himself in the hands of the Menshet Divisional Police, entangled in the tragic web of the accident. In court, his appearance, adorned with a neck brace, nose marks, and bandages, painted a picture of pain and struggle. But it raised eyebrows and questions alike. President of Accidents Victim Support Unit, Reverend Cyril Crab, shared his thoughts on Lowen's appearance in court.
Everyone would like to play it like this so that it will earn the sympathy of the public, will earn the sympathy of the judge. Everybody involved in an accident, one that knows that he is culpable in the accident, will behave just as he has behaved. But then I also believe that in court, you tell the truth as it is, so that the judge can temper justice with mercy or mercy with justice, so that you will go scot-free. Then again, we also have to realize that this is a serious matter, and we should not downplay it at all. And so when you are going into a court and you behave like this, it means also you are not taking the matter so seriously.
Lowen's counsel, Margaret Ejechum, fought for his freedom, seeking bail.
Because you saw the condition of my client. You saw the condition of my client. He's not even too well. But we have to respect the law. In fact, we were bulldozed here. We didn't come on our own. Fortunately, his statement was taken today, and the courts just saw how he is now. So bail was granted.
Lowen was granted a 50,000 Ghana cedis bail yesterday, June 3rd, with 2 sureties standing by his side. The case continues, with many questioning actor Kojo Nkansah's actions and priorities. As the truth unfolds, one thing is clear: a young life was lost, and the family believes that justice is now being served.
The family is pleased with the extent of the action taken by the police, and we are very happy about the outcome of the whole issue.
And from what I understand, you are at the police station right now?
Yes, we are at the station right now to make inquiries because we were not formally informed of him being arrested and taken to that place. And due to that, the family did not make any representation at the court. So we decided to come to the police station right now and find out the extent and then the outcome of what happened at the court.
On that note, it's a wrap for the Showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline and Suma Yabua. Over to you, Aisha.
And when is Lewin going to court again? 27?
Yeah, 27 June.
June, right?
Sure.
Wish him all the best. That'll be it for the bulletin. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjournline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. See you again at 2.